Sana oil.
Hi there, classmates. I'm Dominic, and this is my presentation about Sana Oil, a social marketing and mobilization project focusing on a municipal wide information drive on the proper disposal of used cooking oil, or UCO.
Sana oil.
As the Sustainable Development Goal icon suggests, this social marketing campaign focuses on SDG number 12, or responsible consumption and production. In context, one third of all the food in the world is wasted or lost. According to the United Nations SDG 12 report, if we don't change our production and consumption habits, we will cause irreversible damage to our environment. And this includes consumption of oil, where improper disposal of used cooking oil, or UCO, is a major environmental and public health concern. If it is poured down in drains, UCO clogs pipes, pollutes waterways, and may potentially harm wildlife. Also, according to the study titled Disposal of Waste Cooking Oil of Restaurants and Eateries as a Potential Hazard to the Environment, the disposal practices of restaurants and eateries in Cabanatuan City, Philippines, as regard the disposal of cooking oil and grease residues come up from its faulty operations. It is also believed that this practice of flushing cooking oil and other liquid wastes through the city's drainage system can clog the canals. And the findings revealed that these food operators neither are aware on the proper disposal of liquid waste nor knowledgeable on its right disposal. Similar situation applies in the municipality of Mauban, Quezon Province, where food operators are generally unaware of the proper disposal of liquid waste. And in order to commence the format of the campaign, the conceptual framework used was of Harold Laswell's communication model, wherein the implementer formulates the content of the message using a particular media or channel of communication to the identified audience who are expected to have a change in behavior. And in a glance, this campaign utilizes the three R's of UCO management: rethink, reuse, and rejuvenate. And it also aims to educate the target audience on the environmental consequences of incorrect disposal of UCO. Our target audience, as stated in the plan, are the eateries, restaurant food operators and owners, every household, and the students. Having that said, these are the main objectives of the campaign. First is to increase the awareness of the negative impacts of improper disposal of used cooking oil among eateries and households by the means of the second objective, which is to conduct workshops or webinars about proper disposal of UCOs by the restaurants and eateries operators in the municipality of Mauban. And all of these can turn into reality with the third objective, which is to build partnerships among LGU, Menro, barangay level, and Youth for Environment organizations in schools or the ESO. And to stabilize the campaign, we have the four thrusts of the marketing. And these are identified as the product. Sana Oil aims at a product of people who are adopting a simple yet effective storage, collection, and disposal of used cooking oil. And since everything got a prize, the campaign needs to provide budget for resealable containers in the first phase of implementation, including the expenses for the in person workshops and virtual trainings for restaurant operators and households. The place, as mentioned in the title, has its scope and limitation only within the municipality of Mauban. And for the promotion, this campaign is to be promoted by a social media posts with photos and or infographics about UCO disposal, including public service announcements. And as a bonus and motivation to the target audience, those restaurant operators and households who will be compliant about the disposal habits will receive incentives from Menro. Meanwhile, here are the significant partners and stakeholders to make the campaign a reality. The local government unit of Mauban, headed by the municipal mayor, Mayor Erwin Pastrana, the Municipal Environment and Natural Resources Office of Mauban, the Department Head Maria Lea Malubay, and the Data Controller to Mr. Lester Malubay. These two offices are the main partners in the implementation of the community sector or for the community sector. Meanwhile, the Mauban e-learning bill, in cooperation with the Mauban Municipal E-Library, headed by the municipal librarian, Ms. Mary May Porto Lanceta, and the head of the e-learning bill, Ms. Conchita Marta Mirabueno, who served as the bridge between the DepEd body and the LGU body for the information dissemination of the campaign. Meanwhile, we also have the YESO or Youth for Environment in Schools organization of Dr. Maria Pastrana National High School, where I'm also a teacher, together with the Supreme Secondary Learner Government and the Senior High School Club of the same school for attending the Youth Counterpart webinar of the campaign. Moving on, the pre-campaign period consists of three main parts. First, the notice for partnership or linkages. We have the social media content branding and the calendar of activities. For the first part, the notice for partnership and linkages, we have countless updates, both formal and informal communication that has taken place. We have emails, hard copy of the letter via courier, and even messenger chats. These are all equally significant in the communication campaign duration. The email and hard copy letters were used for filing and referencing as well as signatures, while the messenger chats are used for quick updates for the statuses via the data tracking system. Meanwhile, the social media content branding as well as the creation of the Facebook page started with the mood board. And here, the Sana Oil label was conceptualized in Tagalog and in a meme type of expression, just like how the Gen Z say it. It is also intended for mass appeal. The color used in the logo are the usual natural use of oil, and this is commonly yellow and complemented with the green label. Lastly, the typeface that we used here was intended to be more fluid, that resembles the liquid state of oil. The logo, which was represented by a bottle of oil, is a mascot superhero which was generated using AI Gemini and was intended to be funny and bring good vibes. Meanwhile, the Pentagon badge was generated through Canva Elements and it was complemented with the SDG 12 icon that stands for responsible consumption and production. Having that said, there is the main character of the campaign. Please watch this.
Sana Oil.
Since we already have the logo and the content branding, here are some basic figures according to the Facebook page insights. So we are now entering the campaign implementation and monitoring phase. Project Sana Oil garnered a total of 358 followers and 216 likes, with post reach that has gone 12,900 plus and post engagement of 2,693 and still counting. Among the 358 followers, we have 62%, which is consist of women, and 37% were men, with the age range from 18 years old up to 54 years old. As mentioned in the objectives, where the people of the municipality of Mauban are the intended audience, Project Sana Oil was dominated by followers from Mauban, Quezon Province with 147 accounts, followed by users from Lucena City with 111. Meanwhile, the top performing post of Project Sana Oil is the How To post. It is in a carousel format, which presented three reminders about how to properly dispose used cooking oil at home. With post impressions of over 12,000, post reach of over 11,000, and post engagement of 2.2 thousand, this post was also the most shared infographic of the page. And this was followed by a QR post about a study in Cabanatuan, Philippines, focusing on the potential hazards of improper disposal of used cooking oil. It has a post impression of over 1,500, a post reach of over 1,300, and was engaged with 221 users. Meanwhile, the next slide will show you the public service announcement from the Municipal Environment and Natural Resources Office via the Waste Management Sector about the new schedule of collecting used oil in the municipality. So please watch this.
Simula Biyernes, kokolektahin na ng ating truck ng basura ang inyong mga naipong ginamit na mantika sa pagluluto. Siguraduhin nakalagay ito sa tightly sealed na lalagyan at hintayin lamang dumaan ang truck ng basura sa harapan ng inyong bahay. Kokolektahin ang mga used cooking oil tuwing araw ng Biyernes.
Now, that is the Bandilio or public service announcement, which has been a popular channel in our municipality when it comes to public announcements. However, what you have just watched is just a sample and was not yet approved by the Menro and the waste management sector. The following slide that you will see are screenshots from the webinar of the students of UCO Club, Senior High School Club, together with the SSLG, and some videos from different stores in Mauban, including our school canteen, that has a process in discarding their used oil. Attended by 78 student participants, these kids from the different grade levels, 6 to 12, were able to realize the hazards of discarding the oil to canals, gardens, and even the kitchen sink that could clog the pipes in time. With the help of the advisor of the YesO, Sir Romel Sabeldia, the advisor of SSLG, Ma'am Lynette Santayana, and the advisor of Senior High School Club, Ma'am Maria Fajardo, thank you very much for allowing your students to participate in our webinar. Meanwhile, these are the sample clips from our school-operated canteen on how they discard their used oil on a daily basis.
Sana oil. Sana oil.
Now, going back to the campaign objectives and the presented results, let's see if we were able to achieve our target. First, by the social media reach and post engagements, I believe so. The campaign was able to reach its target audience via the social media infographics, related studies, and public service announcements. So that's a check. A webinar through primarily intended for food and restaurant operators was still conducted, so let's consider it another win. And lastly, we were able to link with potential partners somehow, even though this project seems to be promising. Involving the community via local government unit is not an easy task because it has to pass through several readings in the Sangguniang Lungsod or Bayan before any policy is implemented or changed, especially if it's about waste management. However, we were able to present the plan and a mock reminder via Bandilio and public service announcement. So we might consider this work in progress. So let's give it a good check as well. And finally, here are some of the nooks and crannies that were present in the implementation of Project Sana Oil. Time, being the most precious and difficult to spend with, was very limited. Working alone for social marketing campaign is one thing, but taking extra mile to achieve approval of a capstone project is another. That is why I need to make things productive every time I spend time to finishing this term project. Next one is approval from potential partners. Despite being a government employee who intends to propose and present a social marketing campaign in a government office, to secure approval, especially if it involves policy making and not just a one-time event. This is why I also put in mind in advance that I will sometimes wait for nothing and sometimes wait for something late. So I learned to expand connections, drop everything, and connect not only via official websites and email threads, but also through quick messaging apps like Messenger and WhatsApp for quick updates. And lastly, to follow an effective sequence of any project, using a Gantt chart is the most effective way to keep updates on track. And that's the end of my social marketing campaign about Project Sana Oil. Hopefully, you appreciated a thing or two. So please see my reflection video below. Maraming salamat!
Sana Oil.